The Lincoln Memorial stands as more than a grand monument of marble and stone. It is a living testament to a man whose vision and sacrifice shaped the course of a nation and to a people's ongoing struggle for unity and justice. Today, we explore the genesis of this temple of democracy, its charged dedication in 1922, and the echoes of its message that resonate still. By the early 1920s, Abraham Lincoln's reputation had ascended beyond the realm of mere history. Born in 1809 on the frontier of Kentucky, Lincoln rose by grit and self-education to the presidency at one of America's darkest hours. His Emancipation Proclamation in 1863 freed 4 million enslaved people and set the framework for a nation reunited under the banner of liberty. After his assassination in 1865, he became immortalized, hailed as the great emancipator, and likened to George Washington in martyrdom and virtue. In the decades that followed, Lincoln's image was deliberately enshrined in American memory. Biographers wove legends of his frontier wit and moral courage. Eulogies portrayed him as a saint on earth. Yet even as that mythology solidified, the living reality of the country he saved remained fractured. By 1922, segregation and Jim Crow laws gripped the South, and its echo reached across the nation. White supremacist tides were swelling once more. The Ku Klux Klan revived with new force, and depictions of the Confederacy as a noble, lost cause proliferated in monuments and film. While many white Americans embraced Lincoln's memory as a symbol of national reconciliation, for Black Americans, he remained both a beacon of hope and a reminder of promises unfulfilled. The Great Migration had brought millions northward in search of work and dignity, yet northern cities too kept them in segregated enclaves. Race riots in Chicago in 1919 and elsewhere underscored the perilous gap between freedom's ideal and freedom's reality. Against this contested backdrop, Congress and city planners turned their attention to the western end of the National Mall. As early as 1867, proposals for a Lincoln Monument surfaced, but none gathered enough momentum. It was only at the centennial of his birth in 1909 that renewed determination took hold. Under the Macmillan Commission's vision for the Capitol, the mall would culminate at a Parthenon-inspired shrine to Lincoln, a temple to democracy carved in American stone. In March 1911, Congress appropriated funds. On February 12, 1914, Lincoln's birthday, work began. The cornerstone laid, the Doric colonnade rose on broad terraces designed to echo those of ancient Athens. When World War I drew the nation's labor and materials into the conflict overseas, construction slowed but never halted. In 1918, sculptors and engineers enlarged the central statue from plans, and by early 1920, the 19-foot-tall Georgia marble likeness of Lincoln was in place. Architect Henry Bacon selected materials from across the reunited states: granite from Massachusetts, marble from Colorado and Georgia, limestone from Indiana, Tennessee floors and Alabama ceilings. Each stone was a message of reconciliation, a physical chronicle of a country once sundered, now bonded in craftsmanship and purpose. Daniel Chester French, the sculptor entrusted with Lincoln's likeness, studied every photograph, cast, and description he could find. He captured the president's firm jaw, deep-set eyes, and contemplative expression. French placed Lincoln in a chair etched with a fasces, a bundle of rods signifying strength through union. One hand clenched, the other open, he embodies both resolve and mercy. On Memorial Day, May 30th, 1922, a crowd of nearly 50,000 gathered. Civil War veterans, Northerners and Southerners alike, sat side by side beneath the columns. President Warren G. Harding and Chief Justice William Howard Taft took their places. From the front of the row, Robert Todd Lincoln, the president's eldest son, made his last public appearance, reclining on the steps of a monument to his father's memory. The dedication was broadcast live by radio, a new marvel of technology, so countless Americans listening at home could share in the moment. Newspapers described it as a temple of freedom, though irony shadowed the celebration. African-American guests, including educators and civic leaders, discovered upon arrival that their seating was segregated. On those hallowed stones consecrated to emancipation, once again the color line held sway. Dr. Robert Russa Moton, president of Tuskegee Institute, delivered the keynote. A man of cautious diplomacy, he nevertheless confronted the contradiction of the day. He compared the Pilgrim Mayflower to the African slave ship, contrasting America's founding ideals with its history of bondage. His speech survived censorship by Taft, who excised the most pointed critiques. Yet Moton's message rang clear. Lincoln's promise of equality remained unfulfilled, and the nation must strive toward the principle of equal justice for all. In that moment, the Lincoln Memorial's dual significance emerged. It was at once an emblem of national reunification and a stage upon which America's battle for civil rights would be played in the decades to come. 17 years later, the steps of Lincoln's Temple hosted another historic scene. On Easter Sunday, April 9, 1939, contralto Marian Anderson sang before an integrated audience after being barred from Constitution Hall. First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, outraged by segregation, had secured the venue. As Anderson's voice rose across the reflecting pool, the memorial became a sanctuary for equality, transforming protest into art. Then on August 28, 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stood before 250,000 people, delivering his I Have a Dream address. With his opening words, 50 years ago, King invoked Lincoln's Gettysburg assurance that government, of the people, by the people, for the people, must not perish. In that electric moment, the memorial's stones reverberated with the promise of a more perfect union. Thus, the Lincoln Memorial transcends its 1922 dedication. It is not a static relic, but a living forum. Each visitor brings new context: a student studying history, a citizen seeking solace, an activist calling out injustice. The inscriptions of the Gettysburg Address and Second Inaugural hang within as silent reminders of Lincoln's creed, that liberty and equality must be the birthright of every American. A century has passed since that first Memorial Day ceremony. The world has witnessed wars, social revolutions, and technological revolutions. Yet on these steps, the words and legacy of Abraham Lincoln remain essential. They remind us that democracy is neither guaranteed nor final. It is an endeavor renewed by each generation. The Lincoln Memorial endures as a symbol of hope and a call to action. In honoring Lincoln, we honor the unfinished work of justice, liberty, and unity. May these marble columns inspire each of us to uphold the promise of democracy and to strive toward that more perfect union for which he gave his life. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history and legacy of the Lincoln Memorial. If you found this exploration enlightening, please like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, may we all walk forward together in the spirit of freedom.